If we don't learn this lesson, it could lead to the destruction of humanity. But if you, yes, you, embody these three teachings that I'm going to share with you today, then maybe we can save this planet and bring heaven on earth as we were meant to. What in the world is this guy talking about? Well, in the last video, we talked about how our nervous systems being regulated help to regulate the nervous systems around us. And I'd love to expand on that conversation just a little bit more so that we can really understand in a practical sense what is often spoken of in theory. That is the reality that we are all one. Now, what does this mean? We hear this said in consciousness circles and communities, but in a practical sense. Before we go further, I have to address the paradox. We are one, not just humans, but life itself. There is but life. Consciousness. There is only consciousness. And yet we are distinct. You are watching a video of me. I am talking to hopefully thousands of you. That would be amazing. Won't you like, comment, share, subscribe, do the things that help improve the algorithm so more people can get exposed to this concept? But simultaneously, we're one. For me, I love the concept of breathing air. Human beings are all breathing in the same air on the same planet. All oxygenating life is breathing in air. Beyond that, the plants are breathing carbon dioxide that we exhale. So there are very real and practical ways to conceptualize and experience the oneness of being. And if we can, en masse, realize and embody this, then we can turn this ship around, because you know as well as I do that the world, maybe it's not heading in the direction that leads to flourishing. That's a good word. All right, so what do we do? How do we realize and embody this oneness? How does one person impact that? Take the lesson that we shared from the nervous system realization and expand that out globally. It's not just your nervous system that impacts the world around you. It's your actions. First thing I want to share that I think is incredibly powerful and potent to realizing and embodying our oneness. It's one of the most challenging things for us to do as humans, and that is to be vulnerable, to share our weaknesses, to share our fears, to share our loves, to share our ambitions, our desires and dreams. We have so much shame and guilt around all of these different parts of ourselves, and there's no need to, because you know why? Well, because we all have the same. We all love our families. We all love our communities. We all love our bodies. Now, I know all of that is to a varying degree, but only in the most extreme cases is someone not willing to defend their own life. No matter how depressed we may be, no matter how self-loathing we might find ourselves to be, if our lives are threatened, we defend them. And that tells us deep down, we all love our lives. And not just our lives. We all love life. We all have an innate desire to preserve life. It does get twisted. Trauma, life experience has us sometimes behaving in ways that are not in alignment with our authentic, truest self. And that is part of what we're here to recover from and help others do the same. Be vulnerable with your family. You know, I worked with a guy once. This was a gentleman from Taiwan. He was in his 80s. He had a son who was incredibly depressed, cripplingly depressed, in his young 30s, I believe. And the father brought himself to Jamaica to experience psilocybin before recommending it to his son. After his second psilocybin experience, he called his wife of 60 plus years and told her for the first time that he loved her. It didn't just impact his wife. This man cried tears that he'd been holding back for decades. It was almost impossible for me to imagine that someone would not tell their spouse of 60 plus years ever that they loved them. And yet all it signifies is a lack of vulnerability. Culture has taught us that when we expose our emotions, we expose our weakness. When we expose our fears, we expose our weakness. When we expose our love, we expose our weakness. And that is not true. Now, there is definitely a time that requires us to muster up strength and courage and defend ourselves. And sometimes the most courageous thing that we can do is be vulnerable, be real. And when we do that, we come to understand that we all feel similarly. We all love, we all fear, we all hate. Emotions are not, they're not yours alone. And it feels so rewarding and so empowering to witness that in others. And I've sat in literally thousands of group integration circles, and the thing that empowers others and helps others feel seen is when someone shares their vulnerability. Others feel seen when another shares their vulnerability. That clearly shows that we are interconnected. There's so many ways that I could discuss this. I have seen some amazing, amazing things play out in the work that I've done over the years. But in order to keep it grounded and applicable to your daily life, we're going to keep moving on. All right, next thing up, boundaries. What about boundaries? Well, first of all, boundaries are really important. It is essential that we have an ego. Do not fight your ego. Do not hate your ego. Love your ego. It helps you know that you are you. And the ego can go on rampage for sure. It's one of the reasons why boundary dissolving experiences are so valuable. And I've seen this hundreds, thousands of times in the work that I've done with the mushrooms. People who dissolve their boundaries for a while to an extent realize that they are not separate from their environment, that they are not separate from the people around them, that their actions impact others, and that the actions and feelings of others impact them. It's incredibly powerful. It's incredibly valuable. And it's a reliable outcome of the psychedelic experience. It's also terrifying for a lot of folks because we keep up pretty firm boundaries out of fear of being vulnerable. So letting down some boundaries, opening up and being vulnerable actually helps us realize that we're all in this together. And when we see that, when we know that, then we show up differently for each other. The last thing, well, this one takes a little more of an analytical mind, but it's something that we can all grasp. And this is called systems thinking. When we become aware of the interconnectedness of all the components of our lives, then we become aware of the individuals behind those components. Right now, I'm looking at a camera that you're watching through a YouTube video. The countless humans, the countless resources that came together to make this happen, it boggles the mind, literally. Just look at the cup of coffee you drank this morning, or maybe it was tea, whatever it was. Did you crack an egg in a skillet? Did you go to McDonald's to get breakfast? It doesn't matter. Whatever you first engaged with this morning outside of your own breath, even your bed, you're laying in a bed that someone else built, that someone imagined and brought into existence through planning and blueprints, and all of that required an entire industry. It's unfathomable, and it is beautiful. If you watched that last video where I talked about a sense of awe and how that regulates the nervous system, you can just sit in your own home environment with the right awareness and be full of awe at everything that's taken for you to sit and munch on some popcorn, watch a movie on the couch with your kids, whatever it might be, get in your car. It's unfathomably beautiful. And this also leads to a greater sense of our ecological responsibility. Now, without going on to a crazy deep tangent here about how our technologies and our, dare I say, exploitation of resources and human beings themselves impacts our environment, let's just become aware that our environment is part of us. Now, there are some challenging considerations here. We have become aware that almost every human on this planet now has microplastics in their bodies. Yes, our environment shapes us in more ways than we could ever possibly imagine. And we shape our environment. So with that awareness, what do we do with that? First of all, just a general sense of appreciation is the first thing I would recommend. Then consider little steps that you might take to help your environment. Maybe you notice trash on the side of the road. Maybe you're taking a walk with your dog and you decide either to or not to clean up after them. It's the small actions that build up. Maybe you decide to use less plastic. Maybe you decide to eat out less. Any number of choices we make can have a major impact on our environment. Now, it's important really, I think, in the conversation around all of this, but particularly the environment, to not walk away with a sense of guilt. We live in modern times. We drive cars. We use cell phones. We use computers. Those aren't inherently bad. But are we getting a new phone every 6 months? Are we tossing a computer in the trash when it stops working, not taking it to a recycling? Consider the ways that you impact your environment. It's important. All of these together, plus others, but these are some really important ways that we can recognize that we are one, and we can indeed help bring humanity back from the brink of disaster. We're not going to address things like war in this video, although it is certainly top of my mind, because the reality is it starts at home. It starts in our immediate environment, in the things that we can do to protect, prevent, and preserve. So, what are you going to do to express and embody your oneness? How are you going to take this awareness and bring it into your life to be the change that you want to see in the world? You're not without influence. You have so much more power than you might have ever imagined. And when we realize that we are one, truly, then our awareness, our shifts in consciousness, well, they help to shift the consciousness of the whole. So you have a responsibility and you have capability. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. I hope you've enjoyed the conversation and the considerations, and I'm so curious to see in the comments or in the manifestations of this world how you carry this message forward and truly embody the oneness of being.